Hello, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. I'm doing this is another little bit of the video for the button-up cardigan haul that I'm doing the little bits part one. This is part two. I'm getting as far as the armholes, shaping the armholes. I've knit 17 inches, it's just over 17 inches altogether up to the armholes, and I'm going to cast off 5 stitches at each end, and then 5 stitches at the start of the knit row, and then 5 stitches at the start of the purl row. So I'll do that, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the first 5 stitches I've cast off, and I have to work out the where the pattern is in this now. And that's the middle stitch. And there, 2 together, knit 4. So I have to knit 4 before I start the pattern again. I'm going to knit 2 stitches together, bring the yarn forward, knit 1 stitch, bring the yarn forward, slip 1, knit 1 and pass the slip stitch over. So that's the start of the pattern, and I've got to do 7 stitches in between each set of the buds. So I'm going to knit to the end. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Two together, yarn forward, knit 1, yarn forward, slip 1, knit 1, knit 7 again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'll pause that until I get to the end of the row and start the cast off on the other side. And I'm nearly up to the end of this row. And now I'm going to cast off 5 stitches at the start of the purl row. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5. That's 5 stitches I've cast off. So that's 10 stitches altogether I cast off. And I started with 97, so I've now got 87. And I'm going to knit across this row now, or purl across this row. And I will meet you at the end of this row. And I'm now at the end of that second row. Now I'm going to decrease on each end of the next 7 rows until I have 73 stitches left. So I'm going to knit 2 together and then just knit across the row, doing the pattern as I go along. I have 8 rows, plain rows in between the finish and the start of each rosebud pattern, so there's a little bit plain knitting to do. And I'll meet you at the end of that row. And I'm coming to the end of that row now. On to the last 2 stitches. I'm going to knit 2 together. It doesn't matter how you knit those stitches at each end, because I use the first 2 stitches and the last 2 stitches. I just knit those 2 together because when you sew it up, they're lost in the sewing anyway, you don't see them. So I'm going to do that on I've done that 1 row, I'm going to do that in another 6 rows and I'll have 73 stitches left, and I'll get back to you when I've done that. And that's the last 2 stitches I've knit together, and I've done it on 8 rows instead of 7. I forget about 8 rows, would be a bit better. That is a smaller size than what I normally do for myself, so. And so I'm now left with 71 stitches, which I'm going to knit up until I get to the shoulders, and then I'll come back again and pause the video until I get to there, and then I'll show you what I do when I get to there. Well, I'm back again. I've got the cardigan done right up to the way I'm going to shape the shoulders. This lady is quite a bit smaller than me, so this doesn't go anywhere near me, like. And she also wanted it a little bit longer than what I normally do. I normally do 24 inches up to the full length of the back. This lady wanted 26 inches, so it's a couple of inches longer. And now I'm going to show how to shape the shoulders. And I have 71 stitches on the needle, and I want 31 stitches for the back of the neck. So I'm going to cast off 10 stitches at the beginning of the next 4 rows. It's just ordinary casting off. Seven, 8, 9, 10. And so that's 10 stitches I've cast off there, and try not to cast them off too tight, because you want the a little bit give in when you come to sew up the shoulder. And so I'm going to knit across to the other side, and then I'll cast off 10 stitches at the start of the purl row. So I'll pause till I get to that part. Now I'm going to cast off 10 stitches on the purl side. In case I didn't mention, the full length up to the neck is going to be 26 inches, but I did 8 inches from the armhole up to the shoulder. So now I'm going to cast off another 10 stitches. And that's 10 stitches cast off slackly there. And now I'm going to purl to the end of that row. And I'll pause it again. And didn't I go and muck the end of that video up? I pressed stop instead of pause and didn't realise it. But I'm showing you I've casted off the 4 lots of 10 stitches here at the beginning of the 4 rows. Then I put the last 31 stitches onto a holder for the neck. So all I have to do now is knit the other pieces for the cardigan. And when I do that, I'll be putting up another, it'll be part 3 I'll put up for the left front. And just in case anybody hadn't noticed, or had noticed, move this up a bit. I had this on my arm while I was knitting. It's an armband I made for my arm. You've probably seen it in the video. In case you're wondering what it was for, if you look here, all the bits, that's usually what happens to my cardigans and sweaters when I'm knitting, if I'm wearing a cardigan or a sweater, because the needles keep rubbing against my sleeve when I'm knitting all the time, and that's what happens to them. So I had an idea to make this armband, and I'm glad I did when I've seen how much of the fluff there that's the needle's been catching. I've tried to take some of the roughness off the needle, but I've got other needles and they do the same thing as well. The corners of the needle keep catching, and it's all right in the summer when I'm not wearing sweaters or cardigans, but in the winter I've always got a sweater or a cardigan on, and never thought of that before, but it's come in handy. It's just a little bit crochet with a long end with a buttonhole, and the other end with just an old button out of a tin, my button tin. But come in handy. Anybody else got the same problem? That's an idea to try. That saves the thing. So if you like my video and would like to see more, thumbs up and subscribe.